Alright, so next thing I want to look at is selections. So just go ahead and create a new Photoshop file, a new blank file, and we'll use a preset size. Go to international paper. Any size of international paper is fine, so we'll just OK that. Gives us a white canvas to work with. So I just want to go over the basics of creating selections, and we'll talk more about them in future videos. But your selection tools are, well, the two we're going to look at now are these two here. So if I click and hold the mouse button down on this square here, you can see I've got a rectangular marquee, elliptical marquee, row and a column. And if I click and hold on this one, I've got a lasso, polygonal lasso and a magnetic lasso. We'll start with the basic square, so grab that one, the rectangular marquee, and just click and drag your mouse across your page, and you create this thing that looks like ants walking around in a square. So that's a selection. When you're working with selections, there's times that you want to build up a shape by drawing multiple selections. So right now, if I go and draw another square down underneath, down here, you can see the first one's disappeared and I've created a new selection. If I want to add to the selection that's already there, I use these buttons up in the corner here. So if I click on the second button now, add to selection, now when I draw another square, you can see it keeps the old one and adds a new one. So let's go into the elliptical marquee, so click and hold, choose elliptical marquee. Once again I'll choose the add to selection, and we'll add a selection up here. So we've added a circle to our selection. Let's maybe take some away from the bottom, which is our third button here, subtract from a selection. So if I click on that one and then drag a sort of a rounded shape down here, and see what happens, it cuts that shape out. We'll have a look at the lasso tool. So we've got lasso and polygonal lasso. Now the lasso tool, you just click and draw a line. Once again I'm going to go to add to the selection I've already got, and we'll just add a basic shape here. And on here. Okay, and then lastly we'll look at the polygonal lasso, which draws straight lines to create selections. Once again we'll add to the selection that's already there, and this time what I do is I click the mouse button. I don't click and drag, I just single click it, and you can see as I move the mouse now I get this line that I'm drawing. So I click down here, I'll click over here, keep going around. And then when I'm finished, what I need to do is move the mouse over my first point, wherever I made that first click on my page. And you'll see as I move the mouse closer to it, a little circle appears on my cursor. Hopefully you can see that in the video. It changes from a plus to a circle, and that's Photoshop telling me if I click right now, I close the selection. The other way I can close my selection, if I can't find the original point, sometimes if you've got a complicated picture you can't sort of see where that original point was. The other thing you can do is just double click the mouse, so tap tap, and it closes that selection for you. And selections serve two purposes. One is to act as a mask, so if I grab a large brush now and start spraying in my picture, you can see I can only spray inside that selection that I've created, so it's masking some of my picture. And the other thing we use selections for is copy and paste operations, which I'll talk about in the next video. But lastly, just to get rid of that selection, you can go to your select menu. You'll find various things here that you can muck around with to manipulate your selection, but the second option here, deselect, will just get rid of that selection, so the mask is no longer there. You can see I can paint wherever I like on the page now. Alright, so in the next video we'll use selections to do a bit of copy and pasting.